Hello, it is Lisa from Lady Norway Energy Healing coming at you from her art studio and product making place, and jumping on here to talk about the Cancer new moon, which is coming up on the 17th of July. And it is going to be quite a big deal because there's so many things happening. There's the North Node and the South Node are shifting from Taurus and Scorpio into Aries and Libra. So that's a huge energetic shift for the collective. And even though you don't have to have Aries as your North Node, Libra as your South Node in your birth chart, it's still going to affect the energies of your chart, and it's going to affect the energies of the collective universally. The last time that the nodes were in Taurus and Scorpio, and then shifting into Aries and Libra, that was 18 years ago. So then there's this closing out. And I think there was a closing out of a cycle with the full moon in Capricorn, the one that we just had. So that's kind of huge. North Node is like a karmic point in your birth chart, and it symbolizes your pathway to growth. And the South Node is also a karmic point in your birth chart, and it symbolizes your instincts and like what comes to you naturally. So it's the South Node is where you tend to fall back to and where you feel comfortable, where the North Node is about those things that are uncomfortable, or like that it's not your comfort zone. So it's like comfort zone, not your comfort zone. So it's interesting. And now that it's shifting into Aries and Libra. Aries, that's typically associated with the first house. It's ruled by Mars, the planet Mars, and it is a fire element. And so it's all like, when you think about all those things, like first house it's a cardinal fire sign, meaning that it is associated with action in the world of identity. It marks the beginning of the spring equinox, and the key words are assertiveness, autonomy, energetic, impulsive, fearless, impatient, selfish, beginnings, pioneering, adventure, warrior, vitality, reckless, action, and joy. Those are some of the keywords for Aries. The first house is considered in the zodiac as the ascendant. It's from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., which is sunrise in the zodiac in astrology. And it's one of three most important factors in the birth chart. It is the mask we wear for others to see and the lens through which we view the world. It tells us a lot about someone's personality, their temperament and constitution. It is how the individual approaches the outer world, and two, how the individual is perceived by others. It typifies out immediate instinctive reaction and our first step forward. So that's the first house. That's the first house. So, depending on when you were born, your first house can be different. It's interesting how you can have all these different attributes and all these different archetypal things and the elements and where it is, and how things, it's like very vast and very involved. But if you break it down, it's kind of neat how it all goes together. But anyway, so I was talking about the North Node going into Aries and the South Node going into Libra, and I was talking about Aries being typically what the Aries sign is. The first house, I was explaining what that is. And now Mars, which is the planet that typically rules Aries, and it is a personal planet, is deemed one of the cosmic lovers. Thus it competes for everything. Mars is all about action and speed. Without it, nothing much would get done. It's our fuel, our initiating power, and our drive. The sign your Mars is in will give you an insight into your survival instincts, the warrior within, and physical power. Positive expressions of Mars are aliveness, courageousness, action, willfulness, and being energized. And negative expressions, of course, of Mars are anger, aggressiveness, brashness, recklessness, brutishness. It is a fire sign. Aries is a fire sign. So out of the four elements, fire, air, water, earth, it's a fire sign. And its key concept is life energy. The houses that fire rules is first, fifth, and ninth house, and it's a negative polarity, and the signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And it is all about the active experience. Fire is action oriented, thus those dominated by fire are enthusiastic, lively, courageous, and sometimes larger than life. They have a tremendous zest for life. Fire signs are creative, strong, self-assured, and fun. Fire signs tend to be fervent and passionate. So kind of shifting out of Taurus Scorpio, which was all about values and building and security and stability, and then the underworld and all this, you know, your unconscious, the subconscious. It's a healing, like, you know, Venus is the planet, ruling planet of Taurus, and Pluto is the ruling planet of Scorpio. So Pluto, you know, is the lord of the underworld, and is responsible for any transformation in our lives. It governs death and rebirth, and it purges and detoxifies. So that's kind of what we've gone through for the last 18 months. And now we're moving into this next sort of shift. So we're going to Aries and Libra now. And so now that's what you can kind of think of, like those things that I was talking about. That's kind of like what we're moving into. So however that, and then whatever your birth chart, wherever all this stuff all lands in your birth chart, it has another layer and another layer and another layer. So it's very interesting. But so Libra is ruled by Venus, and it's a cardinal sign. It's an air sign, and it's associated with action in the intellectual world. It marks the beginning of the fall equinox. Some of the keywords are partnership, diplomacy, fairness, charming, mediation, harmony, lawsuits, corporation, attraction, beauty, socializing, public relations, equality, engaging, art, artistic. It's interesting that it's ruled by Venus, and and Aries is ruled by Mars. So you can see already it's still like whatever happened with the solstice, June 21st, that came about bringing in, it was kind of like that portal, bringing in the light, different frequencies, more things to different light codes and stuff. For me, it was about balancing the masculine and the feminine. Expansion and abundance, self-expression and authenticity, balancing masculine and feminine energies, healing and renewal, connection with nature. It is a potent cosmic alignment. So it and the thing is its effects can still be felt, even though it's been a month. You know, it still can be felt, like the energies of it can still be felt. So, and that's what I feel for me. It's also, for the solstice for me, was about building community and bonding and the abundance of life. So yeah, so with that's sort of opened up this, you know, this masculine and feminine sort of like coming together from a healed place. Libra now is where the South Node is moving into. And like I was saying, the South Node is symbolizes your instincts and what comes naturally, and what the things that we tend to fall back on. Even if you don't have your South Node in your birth chart as Libra, these energies will still affect you on a whole. So if we have to look at it as a holistic thing, and that each thing is like a layer. It's like we all have, like, even though I'm a Taurus sun and Taurus rising, and the way my birth chart is, I still have each of those attributes or each of those archetypal things. Like we all have it in us. Some things are just a little bit more pronounced, or a little bit more activated, or a little bit more, you know, you have more integrated in you. But we all, it all just builds on each other. And so as you go along, like each zodiac sign and each house in your astrology chart is like a part of you, and you build on it. And so to me, I always find that just kind of blows my mind. And yeah, but so the seventh house, so that's typically what Libra is. The seventh house rules the seventh house. It's the associated sign, and it is the descendant sign, and it is concerned with relationships to others. It describes partnerships and relationships we seek and attract. It is essentially the house of compromise. Business partners, all one-to-one relationships, contracts, cooperative relationships are associated with this house, as well as legal disputes, quarrels, mediation, and negotiation. And so like the key words, I partner, encompasses what the seventh house is and what the energy is. And then of course the first house is I am. So it's like I am and I partner. It's like the two different, the opposing. So it's like having to blend those two things together. This is what this is going to be all about. It's like, where do you stand yourself in the world, in your life, in whatever, and how do you do that with others, with relationships, business partners, you know, community. Like it's kind of like learning how to blend those two things together and doing it from a healed place. That's what I get from it. So then the ruling planet of the seventh house, or pardon me, of Libra, is Venus. It is one of the cosmic lovers. Venus is what you attract and who and what you love. It is also about partnerships and how you relate to others. Beauty, pleasure, kindness, harmony, and the appreciation for the finer things in life are ruled by Venus. The positive expressions are loving, gentle, caring, attracting, harmony, and the negative are lazy, manipulative, weak-willed, lethargy, and gluttony. And the seventh house is an air sign. Air has the houses, the 3rd, the 7th, and the 11th. And it's a negative polarity. And the signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And it's about the mental experience. Air is oriented towards the intellectual. Those dominated by air are clever thinkers, fair, inventive, and handle abstract reasoning well. They enjoy learning, analyzing, and synthesizing. They're also social, enjoy being around people. Air signs are harder to pin down, but they're also very entertaining. So see, if you build all that stuff, just sort of like builds on one another, right? It just all kind of like do. And now that we're shifting, and this is what the energies are coming into, now these are going to probably bring up other things in your, depending on when you were born and what your birth chart, where your planets are in your birth chart and stuff like that. So it's interesting to be able to look at your birth chart and kind of get a little map of what's happening and like what are the possibilities, what are the, you know, where would you find some blocks, where would you might be able to need a little bit of help, when can you actually say, okay, this is happening for me in my birth chart, these things are activating, there's, you know, this is opposing this, there's a conjunction with that, you know, I can look at that and go, okay, well, this is when I'm going to start doing this, or this is when I'm going to hold back and maybe just like do some self-care and look after myself. This is where I'm going to be like, okay, this could be bothering me, an undercurrent. They'd be like, what's going on here? And it's like, okay, you look at this, you go, this could be the case. Like, it's not woo-woo, it's legitimate. You know, it's not the Sunday paper horoscope, like Tauruses are all confrontational and, you know, stubborn. Like it's like so much more. It's such a cool modality to have and to learn and to integrate into your life. And I just really get into it. So, but you know, now with this Cancer new moon, which is coming up on the 17th, we are going to have this North Node, South Node change on the 17th as well. So that you know, you're really gonna, there's possibly going to be a little bit of like, you know, you're going to feel the earth move under your feet. You know what I mean? It could be a lot depending on, you know, where things are in your birth chart and what planets are where and stuff. But it is going to be opposing Pluto, which is retrograde in Capricorn. And there's all those energies that are at play. And Capricorn, or Pluto in Capricorn is doing his thing. He's going back and forth between, right? Like when in the spring we had that little, went into Aquarius, we had that interesting, you know, sort of opening up of energies, a change in the way things felt and the way that you did things and the way we moved through things. I mean, at least for me, I don't know if that's for everybody, but that's how I felt. And, you know, it just felt like things were opening up and like I was letting go of things that I didn't need to do anymore. And then it kind of went back in and it's like, oh, there it is again. It's like, and I've been trying to get this newsletter out, and I've been, I've been going through some things of like, putting stuff out there and then recognizing, no, okay, that's not going to work right now, and letting that go and releasing it back to the universe. And then moving forward, working on things, keeping action oriented, heading towards my goals, and, but, having some struggles. And it's because of this, Cancer being like, Cancer is actually, in birth chart, I have a North Node in Capricorn, and my South Node is in Cancer. So, when things get rough, man, you head back home. You head back home. You go back to your comforts of home, right? Like, that's Cancer. And that's all the nurturing, and, and that's me typically. Like, things get rough and it's like, okay, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to stop focusing on myself, and I'm going to start focusing on other people. I'm going to start looking after them. And I'm going to start looking after them even though they don't want me to look after them. You know what I mean? And then instead of just going towards that North Star, but it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me putting myself out there, doing stuff. I mean, I'm getting better, but it's just like, it's those old comforts, right? It's that comfort zone versus that uncomfortable zone. So then now with this new energies coming up with the fire of Aries and the first house and Mars, and then you've got Libra, which is going to be kind of like the balancer, right? The scales. It's going to be about like how you relationship, and then it's about like with this Cancer new moon opposing Pluto in Capricorn, it's going to be about like where, okay, you're going to have to put yourself first. This is what it's all about. It's about having to put yourself first. And when you're not that kind of person that's not comfortable with putting yourself first, this could be a little bit of a challenge. But it's like you have to do it. It's like the cosmos are pushing you to do it, even though you don't want to. It's important for your growth. And it's like what needs to be healed, it's gonna, like, that's Pluto in Capricorn too. And it's gonna keep showing you until you get that figured out. And it's like, and what do you need to take responsibility for in creating what you've created in your life, and like how you've gotten to where you're at, and how you do things in your life, like where you've got to take responsibility for that and what you've created so far. And so that's also can be sometimes hard, because you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, this awful thing that you deem wasn't great was because of you, like you played a part. You're a player, and that's sometimes hard to swallow, right? So there's that. And it's another cool thing that I thought about this is like with this Cancer new moon, it's like, for me, it's really resonates with me about learning how to parent yourself from a healed place. So that one just really got me, because it's all about learning how to like parent yourself, isn't it? Like, some people have parents and they don't get along with them and stuff, and they have, their parents are living, and they still, there's struggles there's power struggles and dynamics that are not comfortable, and there's people that lose their parents, and there's still that kind of stuff that happens, and that you're still trying to figure all that stuff out. But when it comes down to it now with Aries, this energy of Aries and first house, ruled by Mars, fire, it's in self, and it's just going to help be able to be out there and stand on your own 2 feet, and have empowerment. And I think it's interesting to just think about like that inner child stuff, and being able to parent yourself. And this astrological event that's happening is actually going to help you parent yourself from a healed place. Now, some people might look at that and go, what the hell are you talking about? Or I don't care about that. That sounds weird. But for me, it resonates so strongly, being the way that like I lost both my parents, and the place in life where I'm at. Like, most people are probably like, yeah, I'm a grown adult. I've been parents. I can look after myself. But there's these these underlying things that have not been healed. And what you do is you kind of just you go through life, and then these things pop up, and there's these triggers and stuff of that happens that you've got going on from your childhood and from your family and your family dynamics and where you're from and all that. And it now with this Cancer, because that's what it's all about, right? Cancer is about the home and your family, your roots, your mother, you know, your siblings. It's like, yeah, so these things can be kind of triggered, and you know, this, but at least that this now is like you're going to be able to have a new emotional experience. Like, I think that's, for me, that's what it feels like. It feels like it's going to be a new emotional experience. It's going to come from a place of empowerment. You know, you're going to take responsibility for yourself and where you're at and how you show up in your relationships and in the world, and, you know, and putting yourself out there and pushing your boundaries, and you know, reaching for that North Star. And I think that's what it is for me anyway. There's also going to be you know, we've got that happening. Then we've also the North Node and the South Node, and then there's a cardinal grand cross. So there's these 4 cardinal points, and this is all about a new emotional experience. You know, things that you're afraid of. There could be like some old patterns that you're struggling with, and that there's, you know, that's standing in your way of blocks or whatever. To what you really, really want. The energies of this cardinal grand cross might really help you, get you in line with the things that you really want to do, and what you're afraid of, and what you've been, you know, wishing for, wanting to do, and then can't, or whatever. Can also show you like what is complete, like what you're really done with, and that you're never going back. Pluto, you know, it's like boom, that's it. You know, it just, things, Pluto, it leaves things behind, it destroys things. You know, what is that I heard on this thing? It was like about burning the barn to the ground so you can see the sky. You know, that's what Pluto's all about. There is no going back. So it's like you want to, like, it's almost like a lot of the times too, like you'll be doing things, you do things based on what others think, or what others think you should do, or what you think others think you should do. So there's going to be that's going to be completed. That's going to be no longer. You're not going to have this, you know, it's just based on other people's needs. Like, you're not going to be doing things based on other people's needs. You're going to be doing things based on your own needs. And that's cool. That to me, that's really cool. And I mean, there's other things obviously happening too. There's like sun and the moon are trine Neptune at 27 degrees of Pisces. And then that's like a trusting energy. What are you trusting? Like, and if you have your spirit guides or your angels or whatever, like, are you trusting that? Are you trusting their guidance? Are you trusting what you hear or what you see, or the signs? What you hear is going to be about a lot like, I can do it. I can do it, and I will do it. So I think that's cool. There's Venus is at 28 degrees of Leo in retrograde on the 22nd of July. And this is, of course, Venus. What's Venus? It's about what you attract and who you and what you love. It's how you relate to others, and it's like, what do you want to create in your life? And it's also going to help you with courage because of Leo. And then it's like, what don't you want to go forward with in your life, right? This will also help you. And there is a Mars Virgo opposition to Saturn at 6 degrees Pisces, and this is also a slowing down point. This could be a slowing down point. Something might come up and it'll be like, okay, you know what? No, we're not doing that right now. This could be that moment of like, okay, this comes up, but I'm not doing that right now. I'm not looking at that right now. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to do this, this, and this. So there could be that, but it could be a little slowed down. And with the Cancer new moon, like, it's all about like listening to your feelings, not listening to your mind, but listening to how you feel, your emotions. That's the Cancer moon, new moon is all about just your feelings and your emotions. And so it's like, listen to how you feel. If it feels good, do it. If it doesn't, don't. You know, that's great. I think that's really cool. And it's in this new moon is about, you know, of course, new moons are all about planting seeds and going forward with intentions and stuff like that. And there was one thing that I was reading, and it was pretty cool because it talks about coming home to yourself. And I thought that was beautiful. And also, when you choose things for your best and highest good, the universe will meet you there. The universe will meet you there. Like, that's a given. What's meant for you is not going to go by you. And here's the questions. Do you feel worthy? Do you feel worthy of it? Do you feel deserving of it? That's what this will ask you as well. And, you know, you are worth it, and you are deserving of it. You are worthy, and you are deserving of the life of your dreams. We all are. We all are. So, you know, we've got the 17th to like the 24th is like, there's going to be this, you know, this stuff will all be, yeah, like, it might not happen, of course, like everything, it's like, oh, this is happening, but you might not feel the effects of it like a little bit before, a little bit after. But this is going to be something that's going to be a work in progress. It's going to be a progression. It's going to be a process. So, you know, you might have to let something go. It'll be, you know, whatever your emotional processes, or like how you deal with things emotionally or whatever, there might be a purging of that, of emotional patterns. And that's the same thing about having to take responsibility for what you've created so far in your life. Like, you're, you know, and it's all about choice, free will. You're in charge. You're in charge. You are the captain of your own ship. And it is totally inappropriate to blame anybody else for where you're at. Totally inappropriate. It's just not, it's not appropriate. And, you know, circumstances happen, yes, but really, it's like, when it all comes down to it in the end, you are the captain of your own ship. So this will also, you know, the energies of shifting into the new North Node Aries, South Node Libra are really gonna, I think, highlight that too. So yeah, take responsibility for what you've created so far in your life and move forward on that. So, I mean, all good stuff, all good stuff. I mean, let's say, yeah, sometimes there could be some, you know, spots that are not so great, but, you know, you got the heads up. You got the heads up. So I'm just gonna, so I don't know if that all made too much sense, but that's what I got. And I got this new deck. It's such a cool thing. It's a astrology learning deck, and it's like, so I've been really digging into that. All of the signs and all of the, you know, it's just got, it came with a chart, and, you know, learning, it's just like having flashcards. Like when you learn something and you have flashcards, it's kind of like, this is what it is. So anyway, I'm loving that. So that's where a lot of that came from. But look at, I have Archangel Michael. I need to ask the Archangelics for a little bit of guidance, because I'm feeling, you know, I'm stuck in a couple of things. I've got this newsletter that I've been wanting to put out for, it's almost a month, and I've been working on it, and it's been like, it's like, yeah, and then it's like, no, and then it's like, yeah, then it's like, no. So, you know, now I'm just, it's sometimes you just have to, you know, you gotta just work stuff out. You gotta work stuff out. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just working stuff out. But anyway, I'm gonna have a sale, a summer sale, sizzling summer sale, a You Are Special summer sale. And so it's basically, you know, book a treatment with me and get another one free. So you book a treatment. So be a Reiki, IET, sound bath, chakra cleanse, whatever it is, distance Reiki, animal Reiki, whatever you decide to book, and you'll get another treatment free. So it has to be booked before the fall equinox, because this is a sizzling summer sale. You Are Special summer sale. So I'm putting that out there. That's out there now, and it'll be in the newsletter as well. And I finished up my yoga challenge. I did a 30-day yoga challenge, and I documented it on my YouTube channel. And it's Lady Norway Energy Healing. YouTube, Lady Norway Energy Healing. And if you want to hop on and check that out, it's pretty cool. And that felt good. I documented the whole thing, and it kept me accountable, and I got some support, got some comments and likes, and you know, keep going. It felt good, so happy about that. And yeah, it's summer. We're gonna be doing some camping and, you know, getting out there and enjoying nature and all the wonderful things that the summer season offers. So lots of beach time, been swimming lots. So Archangel Michael, just a little help today, a little support, a little guidance. What do we need to hear for our highest good? What do we need to hear for our highest good? Archangel Michael. And oh, that popped right out. So we're taking that one, people. Oh, there it is. Number 4, be a light to others. You have a powerful message to share. Shine your light on the world so that others can learn from you. Be a light to others. Well, there we go. There's our advice from Archangel Michael, Archangelics. Got it. That's what I'm going to do. Be a light to others. So be a light to others. And remember, you all have powerful messages to share. And shine your light. Shine your light on the world so that others can learn from you. Very cool. Okay, with that, look forward to the next one. Hope this finds you well. Hope there wasn't too much blabbing and that it makes sense. I do get a little worked up around astrological events and astrology because it does really, I really love it. Sending you lots of love and light, and we'll see you on the next one. Okay, ciao.